Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've got some stuff that I want to, I don't want to talk about COVID for all of my fucking time here. I've got a life to live, I got a lot of other shit I'd like to do, and a lot of other political shit I'd like to fucking discuss and talk about. But unfortunately, we're still 2 years fucking later in the middle of this shitstorm with fucking COVID. So what I got here for you is, this dude is on Biden's COVID-19 board, and he was bragging in the earlier part of the video we're about to watch that he supported forcefully jabbing the public for the last 8 months or so. And his reason is that he wants us to hit, in the United States, a 90% vaccination rate. Now, at the very least, he implied in his first statement here that he doesn't even want testing to be an option for people. He thinks you should be vaccinated by the force of the federal government. So let's watch this dude's video and see what he has to say on this.
These are our best tools to get to 90% vaccinated. Testing lets us know who's infectious, but it doesn't intervene in the virus, whereas vaccines do intervene. They make sure that people who get infected don't get hospitalized at such a high rate and are very, very, very unlikely to die. That's an important...
Right. Well, just a little side point here, and this is just the reality of it. You're already very unlikely to die. I mean, increasingly, with new variants, you're less and less and less likely to die. So, worth pointing out here for a guy who wants you to be forcefully vaccinated, whether you want to or not.
Important protection for people, and we have to make sure that people get it. We will never get to 70, 80% of, or 90% of the American population vaccinated without a mandate. It's just that simple. And for
Okay, so he supports the mandate because without it, he says there's no way we're going to get to 70 to 80, 90% of the public vaccinated. That's why we should all be forced to be vaccinated against our will. I mean, we're grown adults going about our businesses. Not only should we be forced to do it, we should lose our fucking livelihoods. According to this guy, I don't know, maybe even jailed if we don't do it. Okay, and I know most people don't give a shit about the power limits on government as long as they get their way. As long as the guns are pointed at people that they don't like, they don't give a fuck. But yeah, I'm someone who doesn't want the ring of power in anybody's hands, let alone my enemies. But let's give this analysis the benefit of the doubt. Let's grant that this sentiment that this guy is proposing is 100% accurate, and let's say that without a vaccine mandate being imposed on the people, that the U.S. will never reach a 70 or 80 or 90% vaccination rate. It's largely irrelevant, and we actually have science to back that a 70, 80, 90% vaccination rate is largely, not totally, but largely irrelevant. I was looking at these stats last night, so let's look at this. Israel, okay? Israel has a vaccination rate of about 78% of their citizens that are over the age of 12. That's almost 80% of the people over the age of 12 are fully vaccinated. They're still having outbreaks. They're still catching and spreading COVID. Still with nearly 80% of the citizens fully vaccinated. This is recent news right here. Next up we have South Korea. 83.5% of the citizens are vaccinated. So that's even higher than Israel. Okay? They're reinstating COVID restrictions because of the surge in COVID cases. 83.5% fully vaccinated. Okay, this is the shit that matters when you say our end goal is that we're going to fucking end COVID if we get 70, 80, 90% vaccinated. Next on this list is Gibraltar. Gibraltar has a reported vaccination rate of 100%. That means every motherfucker in that country is vaccinated. They just canceled Christmas because of spikes in COVID. They're still catching COVID. They're still spreading COVID. COVID is still a problem in Gibraltar despite an incredibly high vaccination rate. So what does this mean? That means that the virus is not going anywhere. So we should just follow the science that the virus isn't going anywhere. We need to look no further than what Fauci has just said. Omicron will infect just about everybody. You're going to get COVID. That's the reality at this point. Now, I would say that was probably always going to be inevitable. Because if it wasn't, some of these other countries even would have been able to figure out something to keep it from crossing into their borders. But lo and behold, they don't have that power. As much as people want to think these governments all around the world have the power to control shit like this, they just don't. They don't have that power. They don't have that ability. So Fauci has admitted that we're all going to get COVID. It's going to come around just like the flu, And like so many of us have said for over a year now. And this isn't a defeatist attitude either. This isn't us just bending the knee to the virus. This isn't us saying that we're all fucked and we just got to deal with it. There's actually a bright side to this. And it's saying more and more people who catch this virus as it's going around, and more people who get vaccinated with those who catch it and get natural immunities, more and more the virus will most likely have less of a negative effect on us as a people. That's actually some good news. And you don't just have to take that from Fauci, because the head of the FDA has said essentially the same thing. So if we're all going to get it, the vaccine, more and more as time goes on, acts as a symptom suppressor. So you'll still get it, you'll still spread it, but it acts as a symptom suppressor. Then the people who want to get vaccinated should get vaccinated. And the people who choose to ride it out should be free to do so. So your 70, 80, 90, but 100% vaccination rate is not going to end COVID according to the evidence, according to the science. So why don't we follow what the science is saying? You ain't getting rid of this shit, dudes. It's staying here. It's not going anywhere. So we should maybe trust the science, and maybe we should stop imposing on people who just want to be left the fuck alone.